So it's been 1 week since I pre-sprouted these ranunculus and anemone corms. They're looking really great. You could see the green sprouts already starting to come out. The anemone you can't see so much, but the roots are definitely there. I can pull some out. The anemone is the one in the middle, caen white. I can pull some out so you could see. I did earlier. This was the one I think I did pull out, and there is just a ton of root growth already on these after just a week. That's one anemone. I can pull out one of the ranunculus as well. Let me try and do this as carefully as I can. Without breaking or ruining anything. This looks great. Oh, that's so satisfying to see. Just to have those like white thick roots getting pulled out of the potting medium. This is one of the ranunculus. And I could also tell not just by the green sprouts, not just by pulling it up, but if I didn't want to disturb anything, I could tip this over and see like little webs of roots. That's one of the benefits of using a clear container to do this. I'm actually leaving tomorrow for a week. For a little over a week, I won't be home. Going to be asking my boyfriend Brendan to be taking care of all the plants, and hopefully he can, but I did want to get as much, or I know he can, hopefully he has the time to, he's so busy, but I wanted to try and get as much out of the way as possible before I leave, just to try and hopefully make things easier for him. If I get these planted up into a bigger mass of potting medium, they won't need watering as frequently. Gonna try and do that for some of the other plants I have. One is quite messy. There's the puppy, but out there is just a ton of seedlings that I have to put somewhere. Yeah, so for these, I have a planter that I'll use for the ranunculus. I was thinking the anemones I could put in these two planters that I'm going to be putting just outside our front door. I already actually put in the begonia tubers into these pots, and I did so, I believe, last week, maybe the day after I planted all these. If you recall in my last video, you could see I got them at the same time, both from Eden Brothers, these begonia tubers and these corms. So I planted these in, but I'm gonna, dig through them. One of them has it in like a strange like star pattern. The other one has it along the edges. I'm not sure which is which. I kind of want to have the begonias around the edges, and then the anemone caen white in the middle as the centerpiece. And I'm not sure really about the growth habit of the begonias, how thick they're going to be. I'm sure I can plant in between them as well. If I put 5 begonia tubers around the, sort of encircling this pot on the outer edge, I'm sure there'll be space in between for me to put some kind of filler. But I can decide on that later. For now, I just want to get the anemone corms into the center of these, move around the tubers if I can, and then I'll keep these 2 planter pots just outside the front door. Okay, so this I think is going to get a little messy. I'm just going to go ahead and get my hands dirty. And move the begonias tubers around. Hopefully it won't be too big of a disturbance. They've only been there a week. I'll try and be gentle and hopefully not break any of like the growth stems out. If anything, I do have extra tubers I can always plant in if I break anything that's in here. Here is one tuber. I'm not sure if I am seeing roots or growth point at all. There's some white in it, but it came packaged in like white sawdust. Hopefully something's growing in there. It doesn't feel squishy. Anyways, this is what it looks like. It kind of looks like a little, a big circular kind of bean. There's a divot right in the middle, and I believe that's the part that faces up. So the rounded part at the bottom. Actually, that would have been in the correct position. I'm going to see if this is the pot where I have one tuber in the middle, and it doesn't look like that. So I think this pot is really good to go. I should have 5 begonia tubers kind of around the edge, and all I want to do is take a handful of anemone corms and put them in the center here, maybe an inch or 2 deep, not too deep. I don't need them way at the surface. Let me just pull, I believe this was an anemone. And I kind of want the anemones to be more full. I think they can get pretty tall, and the begonias are trailing at the side, so I don't want it to look like there's too much empty space between the anemone blooms and the begonia blooms. So yeah, I'm gonna try and pack in the anemone pretty tightly, and then add in filler if needed as it grows, and hopefully it can go quickly. One thing that's good about Alaskan summers is just the amount of sunlight that we get, the length of the days. Although our growing season is not very many days, each day is like really long, and some plants can do really well in that kind of environment. Here's one anemone corm that does have roots, certainly not as well established. There you go. There's a few roots there. I'm just gonna go ahead and pop it in. Here's another one. Long roots. Great to see, and hopefully most of them are this size. So exciting. I feel like I've just not had the greatest start on this growing season, and things have been so busy. I've just constantly been feeling behind. And I know for sure like these anemone and ranunculus could have been started earlier here, but I mean, better late than never. I haven't really pre-sprouted, I think, anemone or ranunculus in this way before. I had previously just put them into pots, same way I do other seedlings, and just transplant them the same way I transplant like my tomatoes and whatnot, my other flowers that I start too early. And just like keep going up pot sizes, never have to like grab them by the corm or like have roots exposed. I just like move the potted mass from a small pot to a bigger pot. This is definitely more economical in terms of space, in terms of the soil that I'm using. So that's good. I think I have like 5 or 6 corms in here, maybe 6 corms, 6 or 7. Okay, I can not count. Maybe I can count it on watching this back. But I will leave that for now. And this is something I'll probably still let these go, or I'll put the rest, if I have extra corms, which I'm sure I will, anemone corms, I'll put them in with the ranunculus. And I can always take from there and add to here if I realize that I've planted too little. So I think this is good to go. I'll water it in later. So I just want to show you how I'm laying it out. It's really nothing special, nothing spectacular. I'm just putting them into where I see their shoots coming up so that those growth points are more upright. And I think, by the way, I was wrong. I thought that the way I should have planted them initially was the pointy side up, but I don't, which is this end is the pointy side, but the growth point is definitely coming out of the other end. So next time I would do it pointy side down, have the rounder side facing up. I think that's where the growth comes out of. Again, I'm still not sure, just basing it on my observations here. So these pots are all done. I'm just gonna pack in the soil a bit better. I'm gonna water them in really well. And now with the rest of the ranunculus, I have a wooden, Brendan might have made this for me, just like a little rectangular planter. And I think I'm just gonna keep it on the patio deck and let these ranunculus grow. It'll be nice, again, to have all the corms in one confined space so that I can dig them up and store them for next season over the winter, because they won't be able to live or survive the winter here if they're outside. I just found an anemone corm actually in here. I'll do this later in the day, and I'll put any of the surviving anemone corms from this planting in with the rest of the ranunculus in that bed. And I'll probably show you. I'll probably record it and show you. Anyways, thanks.